Hi, Wendy here from wendybottrell.com, and today we're going to talk about what does productivity have to do with joy. You see, I'm in a joyful productivity practice group, and over a 6-week period, we're developing the mindset of joy in work. Now, we're 2 weeks in, and so far the feelings of joy I'm experiencing in my life are improving. The reason I joined this mastermind group was first for the experience and the learning and the practice of living intentionally with joy in my work and my personal life. You see, a few years ago I heard the idea that we must live with joy rather than think of happiness. Happiness is fleeting. However, joy is a feeling that stays with us no matter what's going on in our lives. Once I heard that, it made me think about my life from living intentionally with joy. If we practice joyful productivity in all that we do, it just might make a difference about how we feel. At least this is how I'm experiencing this idea in my daily intentional practice with living with joy as I continue to learn through the group that I'm in right now. You know, sometimes we think of productivity only from the perspective of work. And yet we believe that to live joyfully, we must be aware of all aspects of our life. It might be challenging to think of exercise as a joyful experience if the only way that this has been thought of as painful and not enjoyable. The same might be true for eating well, thinking well, or even playing well, if these ideas are not a part of our daily practice of intentionally living with joy. Today I want to share some thoughts on what does productivity have to do with joy. So there's a link between productivity and joy. However, the connection may not always be a positive one. You know, in order to be joyful, you may think you need to be less productive and work fewer hours. And when considering what it means to have increased productivity, you may envision yourself tirelessly devoting all of your time to work. So how could it possibly be joyful? The truth is, these views aren't entirely accurate. Productivity can lead to joy. It's not a zero-sum game. You don't have to choose one or the other. You can have both. So let's look at the ways that productivity can increase your overall sense of joy and, as a result, your well-being. So there's a sense of pride. You know, most of us experience a sense of pride in a job well done. Being productive gives you a sense of accomplishment. You've completed something, you can cross it off your to-do list. It feels good to know that you've gotten a task done and that you have something to show for your efforts. Using your time productively instills a feeling of satisfaction, and we find that this fills us with joy. Perception of contribution. We all want to contribute, right? This can be to our families, to a cause, to our livelihood, or to society at large. Being productive allows us to feel that we've contributed to something. When we get a job done or achieve a goal, we know we've worked to give something of ourselves and that we've seen it through to the end. Knowing we've made a contribution is important to overall joyfulness. Increased confidence. When you're productive, you gain a sense of capability. You see what you're able to accomplish in a set amount of time and feel motivated to move forward to complete other tasks. On the other hand, procrastination leads to a feeling of guilt and anxiety, which strip you of your self-esteem. Obtaining that feeling of self-worth can be a strong motivator for continued productivity. Feeling of purpose. Finally, when you're productive, you can experience a real sense of purpose. The important thing to remember here is the activities you're completing must be meaningful. Being productive for the sake of being busy isn't enough to contribute to positive feelings. What you take on must be important to you if you want the action to seem purposeful. Now, these are just some of the ways that productivity can increase your joyfulness. The two really go hand in hand. At least this is our experience. If you're looking for a joyful productivity course, I highly recommend Mindful Time Management for Joyful Productivity with George Kao. I've just finished this course, and the learning in this program has been super helpful in developing joyful practices that are meaningful for me, and they're easy to implement right away. You can find the details to the course in the link in the show notes. And again, I just thought it was fantastic. We'd love to hear your thoughts on what does productivity have to do with joy in the comments, and be sure to get in touch with us if we can help you. We'll put a link to subscribe to our newsletter. I'm Wendy Bottrell, wendybottrell.com. Thanks for listening. Have a great day.